In this video we will demo a CommCare app which is called CommSell B2B. This prototype can be used by a local sales agent of a social business which market products or service at the bottom of the pyramid. The B2B is a business-to-business model, and this slide shows the B2B model which is reflected in our application. The first business is the LSO, the local sales organization. In our example, they sell toilets to other business and they maintain a network of local sales agents. Then we have the local sales agent, the LSA. They identify and register local entrepreneurs and business to sell the product to, the toilets. The second business in the B2B model is the commercial franchisee. They run the toilet as a business by charging fees to access the toilet, and they can also sell other products as part of their business. And in our example, this product is a bar of soap. This slide shows the workflow of the CommSell B2B application. In the first step, the sales agents, the LSA, pitches the sale to the retailer and registers the retailer as a lead. In the second step, the LSA follows up on the leads by saying which leads are to be prioritized and which are located nearby. In the third step, the LSA fills out the franchisee application form. When this form is completed, the retailer becomes a franchisee. The next step, the LSA agrees with the franchisee the payment plan for the toilet, which can be upfront or through installments, and the products the franchisee wants to sell as part of his business. In our example, this product is a bar of soap. After this, the LSA follows up on the retailer, on the franchisee running the toilet as a business on a monthly basis. And every time the LSAs visit the franchisee, he does three things. It tracks the repayment of the products, it tracks the inventory of the bar of soap for the franchisee and calculates the quantities to be resupplied, and then records any problems which the toilet might have. So as we saw in the workflow, this is the first screen the LSA will access. So the LSA can access the app by clicking on Start. The first step of the workflow is the lead registration and marketing. So the LSA can click on this, then you can click again on the lead registration form, and then we'll access the form where it can answer the question. So in our case, we will follow up a lead which we called Edwin Onamo. The telephone number, so here we put a validation condition so that the telephone number must have 9 digits. So in case I try to put less than 9 digits, I will receive a validation message that tells me that the telephone number must have 9 digits. So I can adjust the replies. The LSA can select the district in which the client is located, we say Bungoma, and then you can answer the question, does the prospect as a land? You can say yes, does prospect as a capital, and the LSA can reply yes. On the basis of the replies to these questions, the application will determine if the lead is high priority, medium priority, or low priority. And on the basis of this priority ranking, the app will calculate as well when is the date for the next visit for this lead. And this information can be accessed on the next screen. Here, since we reply yes to both questions, the prospect is high priority, and the next visit day is the 20th December 2013. The LSA can say form and exit. You can go back on the first screen. It clicks on Start, and another thing that you can do in this module, you can use the multimedia library to pitch the sale of the toilet to the clients. So in this case, for example, we have this picture of our old toilet, and here we can put audio messages or video messages. Again, I can save the form and exit. The next step in the workflow is the leads follow-up. So the LSA wants to follow up on Edwin Onamo. So in this case, it will go on leads follow-up, and it will access all the leads that he registered previously. So in this case, we can see that the leads are ranked according to the priority status, One thing the LSA can do is that it can look for the leads by inputting the region, the districts in which the lead is located. So you can say in this case it's Bungoma, and we see the list. And as you can see, the list is reduced to only those contacts which are located in Bungoma. In this case list, we can also see the next visit date. On the basis of this next visit date, the CommCare application can send SMS reminder to the LSA to follow up on this lead. So the LSA can find the lead, you can select the client, you can click on the lead follow-up form, and the next question is if the lead wants to buy a toilet. If the answer is no, then the CommCare application will recalculate the next visit date for the LSA to follow up on the lead. If the answer is yes, then the application prompts the LSA to fill out the franchisee application form. So next step, as we saw in the workflow, is for the LSA to fill out the franchisee application form. So again, I can find the list of lead for which I need to fill out the franchisee application form. I can click, I can select the client, and then the LSA can select the franchisee application form. So as you see here, the name is pre-filled and the phone is pre-filled as well for the previous form. Here I can select again the region if I want, and here the group of questions for the site details for installation. The first question is the area surface uneven? I can say no. Does the applicant have permission to use this land? The LSA can reply yes. And the last question is the franchisee application form is completed. If it's not complete, if the LSA replies no, then he can access again the form and complete the details. If the reply is yes, then this lead becomes a franchisee. So if you go back to the workflow, we basically completed these first 3 steps. And the next step, as we saw, is for the LSA to agree with the franchisee the payment plan for the toilet, and he has 2 options, the upfront or the installment, and discuss with the franchisee if he wants to sell other products as part of his business. In this case, it's bar of soaps. After this step, we'll have the monthly follow-up done by the LSA, in which he will do the tracking of the payment, he will track the inventory of the bar of soap, and then he will follow up on the condition of the toilet. So to do this on the app, the LSA click again on start, and then you can go on the module pay in stock. You can select the franchisee, as we see again, Edunamo. You can select the client, and you can agree on the pay plan registration. So the first question is, how will you pay for the products? If the franchisee is upfront and then there is no follow-up, if it is installment, then there are a series of questions that LSA will ask to determine what is the monthly amount to be paid and what is the next visit date. So here we have what is the total amount to be paid. We can say it's $25. What is the amount you will pay each month? The LSA can say 5. In how many days you want to make the payment, next payment, and the franchisee can chase, let's say, in 2 weeks, so we can put 14 days. So on the basis of this information, the app will calculate the information for the next visit. So the next payment date is calculated as the 3rd of January 2014, and the amount for the next payment is $5. The LSA can save the form and exit, and then you can start again. You can go back and pay stock, because as we saw in the workflow, another thing that LSA discussed at this point is if the franchisee wants to purchase a bar of soap and sell bar of soap as part of the business. The first question is if the franchisee wants to sell soap as part of the business. If the answer is yes, then the app will display the price of the soap, which is $1, and the question that the LSA needs to ask to the leads. The first question is how many customers you receive per month. We can say 20. On the basis of this number, what is the number of recommended stock maximum of soap for this franchisee? Let us say you can determine as 20, as many as the customer per month, and then the number of initial stocks of soap for this franchisee. We want it to be 20, which is as much as the stock maximum. The LSA can save this form and exit. He will go back on the main screen. So when he visits again for the first time the franchisee, he will want to track the status of the payment. To do so, he clicks on payment tracking, and he will find the case list of the franchisee, which have a payment schedule. So in this case, we see there's Edwin Onamo, there's the next payment amount, and there's the status, which is on schedule. The LSA can click on the clients. You can select the client, clicks on payment tracking, and here you will see that the payment is due the 3rd of January 2014. The amount to be paid is $5, and the previous amount of it due is $0. You will ask the franchisee if he wants to make a payment today. If the franchisee says no, the next screen will recalculate the payment date to the 2nd of February 2014. He will calculate the amount of it due is $5 because the franchisee didn't make a payment today, and therefore the amount for next payment is 10. For the same reason, the total amount of the loan which remains to be paid is 25, which is the original amount of the loan, because no payment was made this time. The LSA can save the form and exit. So when he comes back again to visit the same franchisee, he will click on payment tracking, and you will see that this time the next payment amount is 10 and the status is overdue. It will click, and here we can access the information like the next payment date, the total amount which remains to be paid, the status, the amount of the loan, and the numbers of total missed payments. You can select a client. The LSA can click on payment tracking again. In here he will see that the payment date is the 2nd of February 2014. The amount to be paid is $10 because the previous amount of it due was $5. He will ask the franchisee if he wants to make a payment today. If the answer is yes, then the question is, what was the payment made today? And we can say that it was $10. In this case, the next payment date is again updated to the 4th of March. The amount of it due is 10 because the franchisee this time paid is 0, sorry, because the franchisee paid 10 this time. The amount for next payment is 10, and the total amount of the loan which remains to be paid is 15 because the franchisee made a payment of 10. So in this case, the status, so next time that the LSA will visit the franchisee, the status of the payment will be on schedule. So you can save the form and exit. You can come back again. You can see the payment tracking, and we should see that the status is on schedule. The next payment amount is 5. So this is for the payment tracking. Anytime the LSA follows up on the franchisee, he will want to track the status of the inventory of bar soaps which the franchisee sells as part of his business. So to do so, it will click on inventory tracking, and it will find in the case list the name of Edwin Onamo. It will select client, and it will click on inventory check. Once it does so, you will see that the stock of soaps after the last delivery were 20, which is the number which was originally delivered by the LSA to the franchisee. And so what the app asks this time is how many the visually verified inventory the franchisee at the moment of delivery. So we can say that this time, at this time of this visit, the LSA finds 15 bar of soaps, and out of this, 0 have been lost or damaged. On the basis of the previous answer, the app will calculate a series of information. The first one is that the real consumption for the past month is 5 bar of soaps. The cost recovery, which means the amount that the franchisee needs to pay to the LSA for the bar of soap sold, is $5. And for the reason the delivery of bar of soap to be made is $5 is 5 bar of soaps, So the level of stocks of bar of soap for the franchisee goes back to 20, which is the ideal stock maximum for this specific franchisee. The next question is are you making the payment, the above delivery? The LSA can answer yes. You can save the form and exit, and you can basically go through this form anytime that he visits the franchisee. The final step that the LSA goes through anytime that he follows up on the franchisee on a monthly basis is the franchisee follow-up, and in this module we will focus on the franchisee follow-up form. In this form we can see in the case list there's the toilet status, which in this case is working, because at this step of the workflow the LSA wants to check what is the cash closing for the toilet and if the toilet is working. So you can select the client, again Edwin Onamo. The first set of questions is about the business records, so you can record the cash closing for every day of the week. So here we can put the response. On the basis of this reply, the app will calculate that the total cash closing for the week of the 21st of January is $9. For the total cash so far is $9. The next step is to post the question about the maintenance and service of the toilet. The first question is if door locks are in good condition. Say yes, and the scorer plates and walls in good condition. We can say no. If any of these parts are not working, then the app will prompt the LSA to make a request for servicing. We reply yes. Here we will enter the toilet ID, which we can say is ASC, and then we can select the cause of the problem, which is overusage. What happened? The LSA can save the form and exit. What happened the next time that the LSA visit the franchisee is that it will go on the franchisee follow-up and you will see that the toilet status is broken for the Onamo. So you can select the clients. This time we can skip, let's say, the business record, and we can see that since the toilet was broken, the question which is asked is if the toilet was repaired, yes or no. So if we reply no, then the status of the toilet will remain broken. If we say yes, then the toilet status will go back to working. So that next time that the LSA visits the franchisee and he goes back on the franchisee follow-up form, you will see that the toilet status is working. So this is the basic workflow of the CommSell B2B app. And one important feature is that an LSA, sales agents, can enter information and can access information offline, which then are synced to the cloud server.